Hey everybody, welcome to the Q&A session for Rainbow Warrior Gathering 2019. Chris Holland and I are both your weekend co-coordinators, and we're happy to field some of these questions for you. And so we'll just open it up to Q&A. If anyone has any questions.
Daniel, this is Jay. I'll start. So what's the best airport to fly into?
Well, actually, I think there are two airports that are equidistant. However, the best airport to fly into is the Indianapolis airport, because we're arranging transport from that airport for those who need transport. And so I guess that's right. Chris, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say Indy is definitely the closest one. I know a lot of guys from Indy are going down, and like guys like myself, we literally drive past the place on the way down to there. And I know a lot of other guys are coming in, and they're going to want to either rent a car or find a way to get down to the camp. So we'll have more travel information later, but definitely that's the airport I would recommend going to. Though if you really wanted to, you can go to Louisville, that area, and come up from that direction.
You pronounced it wrong. It's Louisville. Louisville.
Hey, I'm an East Coaster. Yeah. I'm going to stay wherever I can.
All right. Very nice. Okay. I did check my email, and there were no email questions to me, and none on Facebook either. So we'll just keep plugging away. Any other questions?
So Daniel, is all the food included? And so what? I guess the question is, I think you said it was $95 before a certain July date, and then it goes up a little. And what's included with all of that?
Right. It's actually mind-boggling how much food we get for $95. And $95 has been the price for as long as I've been going to it. So at least 4 years. So it is all inclusive of food. We have all pretty nice meals. One nicer than the others. Saturday night, a lot happens. We have the No Talent show. We have kind of a costume ball. We have a dance. We have an ice cream social. That all happens that evening. And it covers everything, including lodging, so room and board. I guess all you're doing on your own is your travel. And if you want to rent a car, you don't really need one, but you can do that if you're coming from the airport and want to sightsee all the famous cornfields of Indiana. I'm from Indiana, so I can say that. Yeah. So is there anything else included, Chris, that I haven't mentioned?
No, not really. I mean, I think that covers it. I mean, the only thing that what you're going to get a email that has information on what you should bring and what you don't need to bring. Obviously, you want to bring things like your toiletries. Bring your own sheets unless you really want to sleep on the mattress without sheets or something. Stuff like that. But anything like food related, you're taking care of. You know, we don't have things like Band-Aids or anything like that. If something happens, you need a Band-Aid or something like that. You don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Yeah. We will have a la carte items that you could purchase. Like, we'll probably have T-shirts. We're going to announce that later. Just kind of decorate your own T-shirt idea. Just a black and white image of the Rainbow Warrior Gathering 2019 logo. But beyond that, everything is really included, including we're going to do some mask painting, going along with the theme of Take Off Your Mask and all that. So all of that is included. And then it goes up on July 4th to $125. And we do that to encourage people to purchase their ticket beforehand so we can plan adequately for food and all those things. Lodging is great. Lodging is adequate. It's just like a 12-man bungalow with air conditioning, and you'll have to fight it out with your roommates as to what setting it will be on. That's the grown-up piece of it all. I think that's it. Yeah. Chris, you want to take the next one?
Sure.
So what exactly happens? I have actually no concept. I've never attended one. So.
Okay. So, I like to think of it let me speak from my own personal point of view. For myself, it's a way to get away from the city, meet other guys who are warrior brothers, who are living the same life I live, have the same experiences I have, and get together. We do things like we have the No Talent Show. We have the big fancy dinner on Saturday night. There's swimming that's there. You can swim in the pool. We have games and stuff set up. We have movie nights. We have dances. We have carpet work if we want to do carpet stuff. We have stuff like that as well. We have workshops where people can present a workshop. If you guys have interest in a workshop or putting on a workshop, let us know. We have workshops going on. We have yoga in the morning, circles. It's a lot of getting together, but it's a lot less restricted than you would expect on a normal NWTA. This is more of a come and enjoy yourself and experience what you want to experience and enjoy your weekend.
Chris, I also want to add something that you've taken advantage of, just alone time. I've taken advantage of it too, just getting away from everything, everyone, and enjoying the campsite, and just taking a walk or going into the town. There are like chain restaurants and shops in the area if you want to go there. Bedford is a reasonably sized town. And I went to get my hair cut once. I don't know. It's just, to get away and everything like that. So I want to give Gio an opportunity to ask a question if you have some.
Yes, certainly. So you mentioned that you'd been going for 4 years. How long have these meetings been held?
Since 2000. Now, there were a few years in between where we did local Rainbow Warrior roundups. So that happened in Texas, I think. And so we have the ability to do local Rainbow Warrior gatherings. So there's been talk of doing it in Metro New York tri-state area. There are people interested in Metro New York tri-state to bring Rainbow Warrior Gathering there. And I'm like, hey, we have Rainbow Roundup that we can bring to you, or that you can put on yourself. So it's not like we have protocols for every single thing or anything. But we do have processes that would be beneficial for other people. So anyway, David Bird didn't start it, but he's mentoring Chris and me to lead these Rainbow Warrior gatherings, and he was at the original one, and I think he's been leading it since 2001. Then, like, he's been the man in charge, and he just wants some things off his plate. He's a full leader in MKP, has been openly out for many years as a full leader. So he's a great guy to bounce ideas off, and just kind of an all-around good guy. And then our other leaders that are coming, by way of mentioning, are Ed Smith, who's also in the Indianapolis community, and David Govaker, who's in the Metro New York tri-state community. And these three gentlemen are the safety net. So if something happens psychically that is like of concern or something, we always have these three people to go to. Chris is a mature guy. I think I'm a mature guy. And we can help as Rainbow Warrior Brothers. And David, Ed, and David are specially trained in helping in situations that NWTA leaders encounter all the time. So, and Ed Smith and David Govaker have been going for ages too. So, and there have been a number of people. Many of them have died, and we call their name and energy into the circle as the spirit brings them to mind. And I think that's all I need to say. Yeah.
Very informative. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, just for you or for Chris, for anyone who's gone a few times, obviously since you're getting involved to run them, what keeps you coming back? Like, what do you get out of it?
Chris?
All right, so it's easy for me. That's a quick answer. I learn more about myself. So the biggest thing for me and in my own personal life is that I have my gay friends in the area. But a lot of my gay friends are in school. They're doing other things. And I don't always have time to interact with a lot of other gay people in my everyday life, I should say. And one of the things that happens as a result of only hanging around straight people is I'm in that culture a lot. And I like to expose myself and get out there and interact with people who are like me, people who understand what I think about what I'm going through. And for me, this weekend helps. I learn about myself on the weekend. I learn, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. People challenge me. And I get that every single weekend. And I've always walked away feeling like I've become a better person after going to that weekend. And that's personally what I've gotten from it.
Yeah. I get a whole lot. I learn about myself too. The reason I keep going back, though, is the connections I make. So staffing with people, obviously a very bonding experience. Going to things like LT1, LT2, ST1, ST2, IGFT, all those things. Like they are bonding to a certain extent because we're, there's kind of like a pecking order. Someone's in charge and someone needs to fall in line, and we're there to learn, and there's an agenda. At Rainbow Warrior Gathering, there's really no agenda. Like, you really can go out into town when everyone is doing sea talk or at the pool or whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want that's scheduled, or even come up with some other things that aren't scheduled. I hope that doesn't happen too often, because I hope we get all the good ideas beforehand. But that's kind of the deal with me. And also, I was only initiated in 2016, so 16, 17. So this is, my first year I did workshops. Second year, this is my fourth year. Maybe I was 2015, I think. That would make sense. So, yeah, my first year I just attended, made a lot of friends, did fun stuff with workshops and whatever. My second year I did the No Talent show and also the workshops. I led the workshops, or not led the workshops, but I coordinated the workshops. Last year, I was the coordinator by myself with David Bird helping me out significantly. And this year I said, well, that was too much. I invited Chris on board, and we're equals. And David Bird is mentoring both of us now. And I think that's the balance that we've finally struck that I really like. I mean, Chris is, the theme was his idea. Lots of other things. His thumbprint is on a lot of stuff, and he's going to be fielding a lot of the stuff. I know he doesn't want to do like the facilities portion, just because he's an indie guy and I'm in Connecticut. But like just working in the trenches with these other people like David and Ed and David, Chris and Bill Dodge, the planning team members, I formed deeper relationships with them too. So for me, it's all about relationship and just relaxing. And this is the highlight of my year that I can always count on. I never know if I'm going to get to go to a different country, or I never know if I'm going to go to a certain conference each year. But this has been the dividing line, like the prime meridian in my year for the last 4 years, because I can count on it, and it's very significant for me every time.
All right.
Jay, were you pulled over or something, or?
No, I'm at a light.
Oh, okay. I see red and flashing lights.
Yeah, there's someone with a flasher on behind me, and then brake lights on in front of me. Oh,
Really?
Kind of funny. Yeah.
That is funny. Oh, there it's gone. Okay. I'm like, gee, I hope we didn't get you in trouble.
I'm good.
Okay. That's my shadow being a caretaker. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts?
What time, Daniel, does it officially begin? I think the flight that I looked at gets me in quite early, like at 9 a.m.
Oh, that's great. I put on the schedule 2 p.m. on Thursday, August 15th, and 2 p.m. we depart on Sunday, August 18th. So I put that on a few of the communications, because I wanted people to know what flight to take. So you might just hang out at the airport for an hour and then get down there. So it'll take an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half to get to Bedford from Indianapolis. And then you'll be like a half an hour early before you can enter the campsite. We can't enter until 12 o'clock noon. And that's when Chris will do the walkthrough with the camp director. And then starting at 2 o'clock, I'll have activities like get to know you type things. But we won't get the whole thing started until Friday morning, because we found that West Coasters, of which we have many attend, can't make it until like later on Thursday. They can't make it till after we have already, so they feel left out. So we're going to do like rules and logistics and overview of workshops, and this is what you can do for No Talent Show, all of that on Friday morning. But rules and logistics this year also will be very toned down, and that's another thing Chris is working on for us. So that's a lot to answer, but yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So on leaving, so what would be the earliest flight to be safe? 4 or 5 o'clock to leave?
Yeah.
It's about an hour and a half to get there from from the campsite. I would say 2 hours if traffic is bad, and it's Indiana, so that could be the case on 37. So I would say like anytime between anytime after 3, you're probably going to be safe. Even though we say 2 o'clock, we usually start cleaning up earlier than obviously 2 o'clock. We start cleaning up around 10, 11, 12. So people start drifting off around 12 to 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So it all depends on who's going to airport and stuff like that. But if you have to be there at a certain time, there's a way to get there.
Yeah, we're going to have lunch, like leftover lunch, at around noon, and then cleanup will begin after that. So there will be stuff in the morning like saying goodbyes and group photo and whatever else we end up planning for that morning. But I would say, maybe don't schedule a flight back till 4 at the earliest, just because Chris is right. There will be a lot of traffic. And if cleanup isn't done till 2 o'clock, we really do rely on people cleaning. I remember there was one guy last year who mopped the whole downstairs all by himself because there was no one left to clean. And, that really shouldn't be. So, I really applauded him for that. But it would, a lot of hands make light work, or whatever the phrase is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bueller. Bueller. Are we done?
All for me.
Okay. Wow, no scandalous questions or anything. I thought we were going to have some.
Like what? Give us a scandalous hypothetical question, Daniel.
That'll be getting us in trouble. There are some scandalous things that happen there, but actually scandalous too. I don't know who thinks they're scandalous, but it's a lot of fun. Let me just say that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to press end recording, and then we can check out. All right. Thank you all for watching the Q&A session with Chris Holland and Daniel Schlorff. And thanks to Jay and Gio for asking some really great questions, which I think a lot of people will want answers to too. All right. Bye.